Welcome to Unstoppable, where dreams turn into plans and plans turn into powerful action. Hosted by Paula Swain, financial planner, business owner, grandma, and queen of reinvention. This show is for women ready to stop surviving and start thriving. We'll laugh, we'll learn, and we'll tackle the messy, beautiful, in-between parts of life that no one really talks about, but we all live through. This is Unstoppable.
Hi, and welcome to Unstoppable. I'm your host, Paula Swain, and financial planner with the Financial Center for Women. So today we're kind of going, sharing somebody's personal journey, which is something different than we have done before. So this is my friend, Heather, and she is a pretty remarkable woman. She's gone through cancer, and she's taken that experience and has grown from it to help other people with life-changing guidance. How's that? Does that sound really good?
That sounds good.
Okay. So I hate to put you on the spot here, Heather, but I'm going to make you tell your story. Because, you know, I don't think I really know your full story.
No.
So
It's a doozy.
Okay, so let's go.
Absolutely. My cancer journey, I'm a cancer survivor, a multi-time cancer survivor. So it first started when I was 21,
Wow.
3 months shy of graduating from Central Michigan University. You know, at that age, you're like ready to start. I had so many big goals
Right.
and dreams and everything. I had been experiencing knee pain off and on for probably about a year, but I didn't think anything of it. I was 21. I actually was riding horses at the time, so I rode hunter jumpers, so jumping 3, 4, 5 foot fences. I ran multiple.
So you probably think it was just fatigue.
Exactly. I ran probably 5 times a week. I mean, I was pretty active. And
Yeah, I shouldn't run. Running's not good.
yeah, I know. Once I was diagnosed, my doctor was like, "Well, you can't run anymore." I'm like, "Oh, that's a bummer." He's like, "You're good. You're good." But, yeah. And my mom, bless her, she made multiple appointments for me to go home and see a desk surgeon. And I kept calling her and was like, "Oh, I have a sorority function," or "Oh, I'm studying, Mom. I can't come home," or whatever. And so basically that went on, off and on. And finally it just got to a point where it really hurt to run. And I went to dismount off a horse and my knee gave out and I landed on my butt. So I finally went to a walk-in clinic in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and I lucked out. The doctor there had done a residency in radiology, so he looked at my x-ray and he asked me if I'd ever considered losing my leg. The answer was no, of course. I was like stunned by the question.
God.
And he kind of later said to my orthopedic oncologist who called him actually just really to thank him for spotting it and getting me home quickly. He said it just at that age I didn't want her to not take this seriously. So within a week I came home, went to Beaumont Hospital. I had a confirmation from an orthopedic oncologist that there was most definitely a tumor in my knee. It ended up being osteosarcoma, which is a pretty aggressive form of bone cancer. A few days after that I had a biopsy and I started chemo. I had a port put in, and within 10 days I'd lost my hair. So for the next 13 months, I was in and out of treatment. All my treatments were inpatient, but I had chemo. I lost my hair. I was bald for 15 months. I was on crutches for 7 months. So I will say one perk was I was incredibly toned. I had the best arm muscles after crutches. But basically what I was aiming for was to be able to save my leg. So I had to have a tumor kill rate from the chemo of 88%, and I thankfully had a 96% rate. So I was able to save my leg. I had most of my femur and upper part of my lower leg removed and replaced with titanium. I had to learn how to walk again.
Was that
all this
because the tumor had to come out?
The tumor was in the lower part of my femur, and so they wanted to take basically what they call clean space of it. So they were able to remove it. It was a significant part of my femur that was removed, and the rod now, so my bones upper rest of my bones hold this rod together. But I was able to keep my leg, learn how, like I said, I learned how to walk again. The downside was I had to give up riding horses, which was honestly probably harder for me to really face than even facing cancer. I think there was some ways that being 21 helped me kind of realize like, well, when I survived this, or when it was never,
Right.
oh my God, I'm gonna die. It was more like, this is so inconvenient to me. But I did graduate in between chemo treatments, wearing a wig, on crutches. I got my diploma. I think the entire hospital knew I got my diploma because my parents were so proud. They told anybody that walked in the room. So that was the first start of, this cancer journey. It completely changed the trajectory of my life. I kind of went on and tried to be a young adult, being as normal as I could be. A few years later, I discovered a mole on my leg I thought looked kind of weird. I went into a dermatologist. He told me, don't worry about it. You have a lot of freckles, moles, you're a redhead, like all this stuff. And a month later, I just went back and said, no, I'm weirded out by this. And he removed it, and it was melanoma in situ. So thankfully, I went in and pushed it because since it was contained, I did surgery, and then I didn't have to do anything.
So
I just
that's
get
two.
monitor. That's 2.
Is there more?
Uh-huh.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
6 years ago, in 2019, I went in for my annual preventative mammogram. So get your mammogram, ladies. If you're listening, watching, whatever, get those mammograms. And they saw a spot on the mammogram, so they had me come back in for a second one, then an ultrasound, then a biopsy, and it was discovered I had early stage breast cancer. I went through a lumpectomy.
How do you
Process it.
yeah, how do you not give up? I mean, so many people would have just given
Yeah.
up.
Well, I will say the breast cancer, it sounds funny since I had been diagnosed with cancer before, but the breast cancer threw me off. I had been feeling my healthiest, my strongest. I felt like I was in such a good place. I was a few years out of a divorce, so I felt like I'd gotten back on my feet. I just was so optimistic about my life. I felt so good. And then to have that, it did shatter me. I mean, I felt like I have to admit, like I stayed in bed, I think, for like a week. I mean, I got out when somebody might show up at my door, but otherwise it was just, what do I do with myself right now? And I finally made a decision, and it kind of became the turning point for me is, okay, you can sit here, you can lay here, you can make this the most miserable next 6 months of your life, going through 4 rounds of chemo again, and radiation, and all of that, or you can choose something different. And when I was diagnosed with 21, my motto kind of became like, today I choose. That became my mantra. And I was reminded of it during breast cancer. And so after that week of laying in bed, I finally heard the birds chirping. The sun was out. I had opened the blinds and then gotten back into bed, and the sun was out. And I kind of asked myself, okay, Heather, what are you going to choose? What will you choose in this moment? And I laid there for a couple moments, and then I thought, I'm going to choose to live. I'm going to choose to get up every day. And that has now continued to be my mantra today. I woke up and I look in the mirror as I'm brushing my teeth or I'm doing whatever, and I ask myself, what are you choosing today? And I'll answer, today I choose joy. Today I choose resilience. Today I choose to accomplish X, Y, Z. And that's kind of my theme for my day. And that's just become the theme of my life.
Yeah, that was kind of how, and my story is kind of nothing compared to what you went through. But when I got that, don't want to be married to you anymore thing, and you can go lay in bed and cry and cry and cry and cry and think, why me? Why is this happening to me? And it's okay to do that, as long as you're going to get that moment where the bird's going to start chirping.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the sun's going to come out, and then you're going to look for one tiny thing you can be grateful for every day.
Absolutely.
And then expand upon that.
Yes.
And
yes.
It seems easy, but it's difficult. It's difficult to find that. But once you do start to find it, it's really when life starts to change.
Absolutely. Yep, that's a beautiful way of saying it. And it takes that small moment, right? And I always say to people, when you choose to find joy in a day, it doesn't take away with what you're going through. But I also think the beauty of being humans is we can find that balance, right? You can be sad and you can be hopeful. You can express joy and still be a little nervous. You can feel grief and still look for that gratitude. And those are just always the balance that I try to find with myself.
But don't you even think that even when you're experienced that, we'll just call it that downtime, and you start to find the little bits of joy, and if you can keep expanding upon that, then the downtimes become less and less. It's almost like what I think that I experienced is that yeah, I can focus on all the down things, but I could also stop that and focus on the things that I'm grateful for, the things that give me joy, the passion and my purpose. And I'm finding those down times don't come anymore. I mean,
Right.
a little bit. Like, it's like
Yeah.
sometimes I get tested, I think. It's like sometimes life is going to go, I don't know. I think,
Yes.
I'm not sure you learned that lesson,
Right.
so I'm going to send it to you again. But then you're like quick to pull out of it. And I know that has nothing to do with what you experienced going through cancer, but a lot of us hopefully don't have to experience what you've gone
course,
through.
yeah.
But we do experience that depression, that anxiety, that
Yeah.
stress, and just taking what you've learned through the things that you've had to struggle with and come out as strong as you are. So did I read that you had another scare?
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought I read that.
Yeah, a recent one, but thankfully everything came back okay. But it's also in those moments where you're, sitting, it was an interesting reminder, not that universe, I need any more reminders of things, but
I think you've gotten your share.
Let me just put that out there for anybody who's listening. But it was a little bit of a reminder to me as I was sitting there in the waiting room, waiting to hear like, okay, what, I am not doing this again. I just kept repeating that, like, I am not doing this again. But it was a reminder of stepping back and thinking, okay, I need that, what am I doing with my life? Like, do I have the right energy in my life? Am I putting out the right energy? Am I putting out that joyful, I want to be a positive influence for somebody, not to sound like so big on myself, but like I want to be able to
It's okay to be
project
big on
that.
yourself.
Yeah,
it's
right.
okay, because we don't. We're not
Yeah.
big on ourselves, and that's part of the problem with most
Right.
of us.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, you're right.
There's a difference between being who you are and being arrogant.
No, and that's true.
Yeah.
And so I really want to be that positive change. That was a commitment I made to myself when I was 21 years old, sitting in a hospital. One of the young women that I had gone through treatment with took a turn, and she ended up not surviving. And it really, really impacted my life. And it was just something that I thought to myself, when I finish treatment, when I move on with my life, I want to be part of a positive change. That has always been what I've wanted to do. It's been my mission in life to be a positive impact on the world, on the people around me, on my community, and beyond. And so that's just something that I live by. And at times, and it's a good check-in for myself too, because sometimes, I get wrapped up. We live in a world where judgment, negativity, all of that, competition, it's kind of like embraced at times. And I always will say to people that I work with, or I give a lot of public talks and everything, and I'll say to people, what if you chose to be bold enough to do something different? What if instead of choosing to fall into that judgment and that, even your judgment of yourself, what if you chose to be bold enough to choose to be joyful, or choose gratitude, or choose to help somebody, or choose just to be kind to yourself and to others?
Do you find that, because we're very similar, because that's how I am, but I also find that sometimes people almost are standoffish because they can't, they look at you and go, something's wrong with you. Like, how can you be so joyful, so great?
Yeah.
And I constantly saying, I love you, I appreciate you, I hug people, that's just who
Yeah, me
I've
too.
become in the last 4 or 5. I'm just so grateful to have my life and positive. But it does, sometimes people are like, whoa, they can't handle that.
Yes, and I've run across that. I remember during breast cancer treatment, I am very public about my health journey on social media. I have a blog, all of these things. Like I said, I talk a lot about it. I mentor cancer survivors. But anyway, during my breast cancer treatment, I was very upfront about different things. And one of the things I was really proud of myself for is I chose to be active every single day of treatment. And that doesn't mean I went out and ran a marathon or whatever. Even if it was just walking 15 minutes or walking up and down my driveway or doing a 15-minute yoga thing. And so somebody on social media had posted, what are some tips for cancer survivors, this and this? And I just said, try to move as physically much as you can. Sometimes you're physically too much to do it. But even at times when I was tired during bone cancer, I would lay in my hospital bed and do leg lifts just to do something. I mean, my nurses were like, oh, dear God, woman, could you please you're hooked up to chemo and a heart monitor. Could you chill out? And I was like, I am chilling out. But
I need this for my mental.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it was interesting because there was actually somebody who commented, you are being unrealistic for, I mean, really like criticizing me for my choices of how I was living. And at first I was reading it and I'm like, oh, that is so, and then I thought, you know what, that's okay. Like that's, not everybody's gonna understand your personal, your choices or anything like that.
It says a lot about who they are.
Absolutely,
and what
I've learned that.
they need to work on. I don't know if, I know we're Facebook friends,
Yes,
everybody.
yes.
So I don't know if you've seen my story I posted yesterday, I think it was, about how people treat you is more about them than about you. And
I think that's so true.
yeah.
And that's something I remind myself on a lot. Just that, we can choose to live our lives the way that we want to.
Yes.
And everybody else will either come along for the ride or they don't. And on the other side of that, I've learned over the years that I get to choose who's in my life too. I get to choose who brings the energy. And I will say that after my breast cancer treatment, and that really, and again, not that I needed a reminder to like evaluate my life, but that really made me step back and say, like, yes, there's nice people in my life, but are they really the energy that I want? Are they really? And so, when you're younger, you think like, oh, I need all these people in my life to be cool and feel this and this. And now that the older I get, I mean, could I sound any older by saying less is more? It's like that to me is like, I've been really particular, and it's been a beautiful acknowledgement, because I work so hard on myself. I have spent years really defining who I want to be and building the life that I want, particularly as a single woman, as a cancer survivor. I mean, all of these things. And it doesn't matter is whether you go through cancer or some other, we all experience challenges. We all experience, and what, cancer may be my big thing, but something else might be yours, or something else might be somebody watching this. I'm sure they can easily think of a challenge that they've been through. And it's, how are you choosing to make it through that?
I just I want to say two things. I'm really struggling right now with what you just said in the beginning, which is having people in my life that likely shouldn't be there. And I think sometimes to myself, how do I walk away from them? Why don't they see me? And if they do see me, why would you even treat me that way that you're treating me? How do you think ignoring me or forgetting my birthday or something like that, but yet I still are like, oh yeah, let me do that for you. And I'm trying really, really hard. I'm trying really hard to exit those people out of my life, and that's, I think this is a lesson that I'm learning right now.
It's not easy, so give yourself grace.
No, because I think some people may disagree, have this huge heart, and I look for everything positive inside of people, that even when they have this negative part of them that makes me feel bad, then I think, well, it's not their fault. The way that they're making me feel is how I feel, which is
right.
So it's not them, it's me.
Right.
And it's hard.
It is hard, and I've been in that experience, and even recently with a few people where it finally, I think I was like on a walk, in a beautiful park, and I take a lot of walks by myself just to like feel grounded and just to like clear my head. Right. And I had this realization, it just popped in my head, thinking, well, I'm allowing these people to treat them. And it was like, I'm talking to myself, because it was like, Heather, what are you thinking? Like, when you leave the space, like, you don't feel fulfilled. You don't feel light. You feel heavy, like you feel lonely. Yeah, you feel drained, you feel lonely. You feel, it's like teenage me is, starting to bubble back up, who felt left out, who felt this. And it's like, why do you keep doing that to yourself? Like, when, every day is a beautiful gift. And it's just a reminder to myself that, if every day is a beautiful gift, how are you choosing to spend it?
Yeah, and it's like, why do you let those people in your headspace? Yes. That's 100%. Like, you're just, I think that's just I just love, I think I needed to hear that.
Good, I'm glad.
I think I needed, I know I love you for a reason. Yeah, it's hard for people, I think, to step away sometimes and go, wait a minute, this isn't the person I want to be. This person is triggering that inside of me. It's not them, it's me. I need to fix that. And when I fix that, likely this person's not going to be around anymore either.
And that's a really great point too. And I actually had a phenomenal therapist point that out to me years ago about when you just choose to focus on yourself, like your growth, healing. I mean, I'll be upfront. Like I have so much PTSD from, going through cancer, both as a 21-year-old all the way up, divorce. My dad died from cancer, so I spent many years working through survivor's guilt, all of that. But I found that it's like as I grow as a person, I remember talking to this counselor saying, well, I'm really bummed because, so-and-so's like, we're not hanging out as much, we're not doing this. And she said, okay, well, maybe they're choosing to do that. Like, you just focus on you and you continue to grow and you become this most beautiful person, like most beautiful version of yourself. And she's like, you're so open to continuing to grow. You're so open to looking at a situation going, ooh, I might have messed up. How can I learn from that? Or, this person just invited me to do this. How amazing is this? And she said, and then let the other people worry about themselves. Let them choose if they grow with you. And you're going to find that some people will choose to grow with you. They're going to be inspired by your growth. They're going to be inspired by what you're doing, and they come with you. And others don't.
Yeah,
and
they can't.
And that's okay, right? You just have to acknowledge, like, thank you for your time. Thank you for what you have shown and taught me. You're a beautiful person. I hope someday you see that. Like I'm a recovering, I'm trying to recover people pleaser. So I hear you when you talk about, like, I want to be there. I want to help you. Oh, do you need help? Let me jump in. Like, I'm always the first person that people call, and I love that. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, I guess I need to call people and put it out there too, right?
Right. Yeah, the people pleasing part, I'm working on also. And
we all are.
I think that people come into our life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime.
Yes.
And when you can recognize that and enjoy that person for what they're here for. So if you're here for a reason, maybe you were supposed to get me from this point to this point, and I appreciate you for doing that. But now it's time for you
right.
to move on.
Yeah.
And I do think that a lot has to do with energies, and if I'm at this level of energy and you're down here, I don't want to come down to you. And if you can't come up to me, then that's okay. I can bless you, and you can move
100%.
on.
100%. Yeah, because you don't want to drop down. Because once you've been up here and then you drop down, you're kind of like, oh, what is this? Like, where?
I don't want to be here anymore.
Why is it so dark here? I need this. I'm a sunshine person. You give me bright light, sunshine, all that, blue skies. So I don't want to be down here in the dirty rain cloud.
And you look at the experiences that you've gone through, and yes, mine are different, but they're still my experiences. They're still my trauma that I went through, and we both come out of it. Too bad we couldn't have known this when we were 20,
right?
But we come out of this, and we've probably got another good 30 or 40 years before.
Absolutely.
In our life.
I'm going for like 50, just
Really?
Another 50 more. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what age is that going to make? I don't even know how old you are.
Next month is my big birthday. I will be Heather 5.0.
Oh, well, I'm Paula 6.0.
Okay, see?
So,
yeah.
I'm going to go for 40,
okay,
100.
and I'll be at like 50.
Yeah, so well, I'll be gone before you get there.
You don't know that.
It's funny, I was talking.
Research and technology can bring big things.
I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, I'm going to 100, and they're looking at me like I'm crazy, and they're like, "You want to live to 100?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna look just like I am today. I'm gonna be healthy, and
yes, exactly.
Maybe I'll look a little bit more worn, but I'm gonna be healthy because that's how I believe. I want to see my grandchildren get married. I want to see my grandchildren have children. So, I think a lot has to do with the way you think and the attitude that you live.
It really does, and I firmly believe that I think the mindset is. I mean, that's something that I have just been passionate about. I mean, since my diagnosis at 21, that has been my savior. And it goes back to, it kind of ties into self-advocacy. That's the other big passion area for me, is that being your own advocate is critical. And that means your physical, mental, emotional health, right? Financial health, like all of that.
Right.
It's so important to be mindful and take care of yourself. It's not selfish to take care of yourself.
I think that's, I think when it comes to like money, for a lot of people, that if they become too successful, they think that that is, like, people are going to look at them differently, and that they're going to judge them, or they're going to be too big for their britches. I know that term probably ages me, but you know what I mean? So people like take on that mindset of that's what's going to happen if I'm too successful, and then they're not. And when you get rid of that mindset and you become successful, being successful, whatever your successful means, gives you the opportunity to give back, where you can't necessarily give back when you're in that mindset of scarcity.
Yes.
You don't know how to give back. And like, I volunteer all the time. I donate to charities because, one, I think you should, and I have a very blessed life, so I should give back. But I think in giving back, it just opens up more doors for you. And people think, well, if I'm so successful, everybody's going to think that, you know, I'm this or I'm that. And that's okay, because in that you'll grow, your energy level will go up, and you'll be able to give back to the community, or to those people that, you know, that never thought you could be what you are.
And I think
that was just like a huge run-on thought.
Yeah, no, but I think it's a beautiful, I followed it. I think it's a beautiful perspective, and I agree with you. And I've had people say that, you know, like, oh, I'm worried about if I'm too successful, like people might judge me or might do this. And personally, I'm like, bring it. I'll take the success, and I'll take the, you know, whatever. And if people are going to judge, I'm just going to invite them to come along for the ride, or just to stand on the sidelines and, you know, I'll wave or whatever. But
you knew me when.
Yeah,
I knew her
absolutely. There's, I think that we need to follow our own path. You know, it goes down to that. And I agree. Like I volunteer a lot. In fact, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, maybe I'm volunteering too much, because somebody asked me, they're like, oh, do you work for this nonprofit? And I'm like, oh no, I'm a volunteer. And they're like, oh, so you work for this company? And I'm like, no, I'm a board member for them. Oh, do you work for this? And I was like, you know what, we don't need to go into this. So I'm like, clearly I need to start saying no. But I feel the same as you. Like, I've been really blessed. I'm still alive. Like, cancer advocacy has been a major thing for me, because I'm still alive. My dad, when he was diagnosed late stage multiple myeloma. He was given 3 months to live. And thanks to his stubbornness, tenacity, and my mom finding the best doctor ever, new research and treatment options, he lived for 6 years. And that was beautiful to have him for 6 years, it certainly wasn't long enough. But I can firmly say I'm alive thanks to research and everything. So having that advocacy side for me has just been a really passionate thing. I want to find a cure for this disease. I want to help people. There's so many people like me who are living years, decades beyond cancer, which thank God. But that also comes with its struggles and challenges too. You know, it just impacts every part of your life. And so just being able to give back and help others has been kind of my core belief and drive in life.
Yeah, you don't give back to get back, but you sure do when you give.
You totally do.
And it may just be, you know, I do some work for Grace Centers of Hope, and I go prepare meals and serve to the gentlemen that are there for, that are either homeless or in some type of rehab program. And I'm, you know, just serving them a meal, and they just are like, thank you you for being here, thank you. And it just makes me feel good. And so that's what they give back. It just warms my heart. And then I get to listen to their stories, and you know, I've never lived on the streets, and to hear what that's like and to what they've had to overcome.
Yeah, it's I think it's a beautiful thing when you can open up your heart and your mind to learning new perspectives, to helping people. I know in myself that hearing people's stories, whether they're cancer stories or stories like that or wherever, it's one of the reasons I love to travel. Like, I try to get out and I try to interact with locals and just understand the cultures and all of that, because I just think it helps me grow as a person. It helps me feel like I'm a better society member. It helps me be able to support people where they're at instead of where I think they should be at. So I find great joy in doing all that too.
So you have a Facebook, it's called Heather's Hangout.
Yes.
Okay. And there I read what's going on in your life.
Thank you.
Do you have other, like a blog? Or?
I do. So I have a website, Heather's Hangout. You can also find it just under Heather M. Hall. Heather Hall is a very popular name, so heathermhall.com. But Heather's Hangout, and on there I have a blog. I have any workshops. I lead a lot of mindset workshops. I'm a yoga teacher, so yoga workshops, all of that. You can find any of those. I have a huge resource library, a lot of resources for cancer survivors, but also caregivers, friends. If you want to be active, I've got like a movement tracker. So I just try to create a variety of resources to help people in like all aspects of their life.
So I've been thinking about having you come to the house and we do yoga on the lake.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
on the lake.
Right, yeah.
But, and you know, my
Yes,
my
yes.
house is small, but I think we could
That'd be
maybe
fun.
get 10.
Absolutely.
I think it would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. We
Okay.
can do a sunset yoga.
But we don't get to see the sunset.
What about I would say sunrise, but probably you and I would be the only ones getting up that early.
I know. I asked some friends to go to. Maybe you can go. I want to go to Belle Isle. And I just think it would be the perfect place to go there at like 5:45
Yeah.
a.m. and bike it, and then go find a spot and watch the sunrise.
That would be pretty.
Okay, whenever
Yeah,
you want to
okay,
go,
all
just
right.
let me go.
Okay.
Just let me know. Let me go.
Okay.
Let me know. But I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
So it was wonderful. I loved hearing your story. I just,
Thank you.
you're an inspiration.
Thank you. You are too. I love following you and all the stuff you're doing, and I think we're out there changing the world.
I hope so. My people ask me why I'm doing the things that I do, and I said, if I can just change one person, then my life's been a success.
I think you.
And I know that I've already changed many.
Yeah, and I think that what you're doing is so amazing because, particularly for women, like we need to not be scared of money. We need to embrace it. We need to, and who better to learn from than somebody who's approachable, who's kind, who's knowledgeable.
Oh wow!
No, I'm just saying, like it's. I tell people all the time, like don't shy away from money. Understand it, whether you're married, not married, whatever. Know where it's coming, where it's going, all of that. It helps you.
Yeah, and it actually takes that the stress away, just knowing where your money is and how it's working for you, where you can go out and do other things, because that's people's biggest issue is money.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, even when you're going through a medical situation, that's a major, so it's
Major.
important.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here.
I love being here.
Oh, I loved having you. So this has been Unstoppable, where we dream, grow, and thrive, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for watching Unstoppable. Do you have a question for Paula? Send it our way. To schedule a one-on-one consultation, give us a call. Unstoppable is brought to you by Paula Swain and the Financial Center for Women. Dream, grow, thrive.